Welcome, everyone, to Hello, Ernest at the Kitchen Table, connecting writers and readers. I am Jan Pratt, the author of several children's picture books and also the author of a series of yoga lesson plans for kids.
And I am Gaga Gabarty. I'm a co-author with Judy Lee Butler. Together, we write the Phoebe Cornell Mystery Series. Join us for every episode as we connect readers to your next great read.
Well, today I'd like to welcome Lamatha Fray, author of The Ultimate Guide to Parenting Teenagers. She's here with us today to talk about her author's journey. And Lamatha, first, let's start with introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you are in the world, and I believe you have your first book was a picture book. So tell us a little bit about that before we talk about your most recent book.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Lamatha Fray, and I'm from the beautiful island of Jamaica. I have written my first book, Spot and Spady Visit Their Friends. And the reason why I wrote this book is because I have, some beautiful animals, and was talking about them, and someone said to me, "Why don't you write a book about them?" And I thought, "Really?" And I said, "Okay." So, getting some help on the way, I wrote this picture book. My two dogs, Spot and Spady, and my four cats, they play together. So they went out to meet other friends, and then they became friends, and they played all the way, and then they went to a lake where they all played, in the lake. They swim, actually, some of them, and then they went home after happily, and they were so happy. So I wrote this book because I understand, small children between the age 3 and 5, they, enjoy playing together. So this book is written to help children in that age, to connect together, play with each other, and find friendship and, togetherness, I should say.
So now picture books are a beast in and of themselves because they rely so heavily on illustrations. Did you do the illustrations yourself or did you find an illustrator?
I find an illustrator, yes.
And where is she from?
Actually, this person is in Mexico, actually. It's not close. I found this person online, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big world. Because my illustrator is also from another country. I write picture books also, and it's amazing today in the world we can be working in so many different places and meet so many new contacts that way.
That's right. That's for sure. It is.
Do you envision yourself writing another picture book, or are you ready to move on to the type of book you have currently written, nonfiction, right?
Yes, I tend to, but I tend to pursue on the nonfiction book first.
So tell us a little bit about, go ahead and tell us the title, and then give us a little bit of background about why you wanted to write this guide about teenagers.
Okay, my book is called The Ultimate Guide to Parenting Teenagers. That's my second book, and the reason why I wrote this book is because I'm a mother of 3 girls. And to be honest with you, the teenage years was very, very difficult, especially with our first daughter. And she was like quite a bit older than the younger two. When she became a teenager at age 13, I honestly, I, I don't know who she became, because it's like I didn't know this child anymore. She didn't talk to me. She don't even look at me. It's like I became her worst enemy. Yes, her friends was her friends. That's her life. She paid no attention to me, and I thought, what is going on? What am I supposed to do? I tried everything, and nothing worked. And so, when my other two girls came, they were quite close, and they were, they had each other, so they weren't near as bad. But I thought to myself, if I could have one parent, one parent to not go through what I've been through, I would be so happy because I'm telling you, it was devastating.
So now how old are your girls?
Oh, they're all adults now.
Oh, so they made it through
They
teenagers.
made it two teenagers, yes, and I'm a mother of four incredible grandchildren.
Oh, that's awesome. And you survived them making it
I
through teenagers.
survived. I survived. Like it's incredible. I survived. I survived. And
Well, I hear that a lot. I mean, from other parents. I have four kids also, so they've all made it to adulthood successfully, which is always a joy. So, um, where did you? So, when you started writing this book, did you do some research, talk to other parents? Where did you come up with this plan to help parents get through these teenage years?
yes, I've done some research, of course, and I had some help writing the book. So yeah, that was very interesting to do. Yes.
So where did you get the help from? Was it from other parents or from educational resources, or who did you reach out to?
It was educational researches I went to, yes.
And what did it change? Did that research change any of your personal philosophy, or is that kind of all melded together in your book?
Well, to be honest, it both ways. It changed some of my thoughts, my thinking, of course, and also, towards the book, yes.
Now, did you start writing this book when your daughters were teenagers, or did it come much later?
Much later. Now that, they're grown up and I have more time to really think, because I didn't have any time to think those days when they were teenagers. So that's why I decided to.
Now, you said you had four grandkids. Have you given your book to your daughters to help them?
Yes, I have given to her. Yes.
Awesome. Well, so who are some influences that have helped your writing? I think most of us as writers are readers also, but do you have any specific authors that have helped you in your writing style or that you admire?
I do, and to be honest, have a. I was introduced to Martha Tucker. She's from Urban Gem Writers, and it's she have a Tuesday evening program for authors, and I joined that, and on Tuesdays she had a podcast, and there's writers from different genres, and that has helped me so much. That's my you know tremendous help. Listening to other authors, I've learned a lot from them, and her coaching is like, I'll read and she'll coach me and saying, Lamita, this is what you should or shouldn't do, or she's very, very encouraging that way.
And now, is she an editor or an author or?
Yeah, she is both an editor and author. Yeah, she has a company where I think she does marketing for books and different things.
Okay. And you said she has a podcast, so if anyone's
Yes,
interested, they could look her up and
exactly. Yeah, Martha Tucker. At, yeah, at gmail.com. Yeah, I think that's what's her email is.
so now in your newest book, how what is the format of that? Do you have like a character moving through teenagehood, or is it more kind of advice given with different issues? How did you format that book?
Right. It's more advice given with different issues. It's not a character. I know Martha encouraged me that I should do a character in my second book, but I'll see how that works.
You could pattern them after one of your daughters.
If they'll do it, I don't know.
So, if you were to give uh, some would-be authors out there some advice, what would it
Right.
be if they're thinking about writing a book, but there's so many pieces that have to fall into place? What would your advice be to them?
Okay. My advice would be to do a lot of research on the topic, you know, a lot of reading as well. Yeah, that is important. And not only that, but you have to have a budget. Yeah.
Books don't get published for free anymore, do
No,
they?
no, no.
What do you think is a reasonable budget? What would you estimate it costs to get your book published?
I would say like it wouldn't be less than $500. I would say.
Okay, 500 and up, depending
I
on,
know. Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Because if you have to use an illustrator, then that can
That's
jump the
right.
cost up a little bit.
Yes, it does. Formatting and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you do this book, The Ultimate Guide to Parenting Teenagers? Was that self-published or did you go through a publisher?
Actually, I publish it myself on Amazon. Yeah,
Well, that's encouraging, right? I mean,
it is
it's
very because if you follow the instruction, it's just follow the instructions. It's pretty good that way. It's very explanatory. Yes,
well, that's good. That's good encouragement, I think, that you don't have to have um, that extra person involved if you have the skill to do that yourself.
that's right. But it's what leads up to the publishing. It's all the other stuff that you have to do. You have to have, book cover. You have to have, a lot of stuff to go with that. But the publishing itself is not. It's not very hard. It can be done.
So, for your book, it's on Amazon, right?
Yes,
So,
it
so
is.
people can find it there. Do you also have a website or
Yes,
other
I
ways
do have
for?
a website. It's www.lamatafraybookcollection.com.
And
That's
I'll
a,
make sure that information gets in the show notes so people can get in touch with you. So, what are your plans for the future?
my plans for the future. I have a lot of plans. I wanted to write two more books in the series. The Ultimate Guide to Parenting Teenagers, book 2 and 3. And I would love to write a Bible for teenagers. That's my other thought. Yeah.
So, what would volumes 2 and 3 be focused on?
On parenting. Parenting.
A specific part of parenting?
Well, yeah, I would just go deeper into, yes, parenting teenagers. Yeah. There's so
So,
many aspects.
so you think like the first one was more of an overview, and then volumes
That's
2 and 3 would be more in depth.
exactly. Yes.
Awesome. Well, do you have anything from your book that you would like to read to us?
Most certainly, I would love to read chapter one. If you
Awesome.
just take a look and find it. So, chapter one, how your teenage brain works. That's from the Ultimate Guide to Parenting Teenagers. So, just a little insight. The teenage years is the transitional period from childhood to adulthood. Teenagers' brain growth occurs in two different stages. First, between the ages of 13 and 15, there are the changes in the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for planning, reasoning, thinking of the consequences of actions. Here, self control is not fully developed. The second stage is at age 17, continuing to early childhood and fully developing self control. Teens differ from childhood in behaving, solving problems, and making decisions. In addition, massive hormone changes. The brain is on a self discovery mode and shaped by their discoveries. If drinking, drugs, phone, phone appropriate website, phone addiction, inappropriate website, violent movies, and home videos are what they're exposed to, they will continue. If fearlessly, this might lead to addiction. It might lead to addiction. Fearlessly, addiction. Sorry about that word. So be a student who's always happy to see her Father Christmas during the festive period changes suddenly because they don't make sense. Father Christmas doesn't make sense to him anymore. The spirit. Normal, right? His desire has changed and he's no longer a little child. You see this kind of change in teenagers because teenagers' brain work entirely in a different way from children and adults. If they go the wrong path, it can be precarious and sometimes lead to mental illness. Their brain becomes more interconnected and go through the development stage. Parents need to understand the behavior of their teen. Understanding the nervous system factor that trigger teens' behavior can help put them into perspective and build authentic relationships. So why do teens act the way they do? Just a moment. The prefrontal or cortex is still developing. This is the chief executive officer of the brain. It processes and coordinates all the information that comes into our minds. It is also responsible for making decisions and planning. Unfortunately, it is not fully developed until age 25, which means that teenagers are more prone to exhibiting poor judgment and planning than adults. Brain development is a complex process that involves multiple factors and it can be affected by various factors such as genetics and exposed to stimulation. But the basic process of growing and maturity helps the brain develop and guide more mature and effective responses. While it's essential for teens to build their problem solving skills, being honest and constructive will help them grow mutual connections in their brains. This approach can help improve their decision making skills. The teen amygdala is overactive. The most active part of the brain driving adolescence is the amygdala. It's responsible for developing primitive emotions and actions such as aggression. In addition, fMRI studies reveal that teenagers' facial expression are processed during the same brain parts as adults. Therefore, the perception are processed through their emotional center, which helps them avoid over personalizing communications. Myelination, brain shaping, and neuroplasticity, it has been found that the teen brain undergoes a process known as pruning, which involves removing connections between certain behaviors and others. This process is initiated by myelination, which is a process that occurs naturally in the brain. It helps keep the connection between cells and the pathway in the brain healthy. When learning something new, it can be challenging to learn. Most of us tend to practice it repeatedly until the pathway becomes myelinated and the difficulty becomes less. While their brains are still developing, having adult relationships can help teens become more mature. It can teach them to manage their emotions and behave consistently with their goals. Now, now that you know how your teenage brains work, you can better understand how to differentiate between excessive and regular teenage behavior so you can respond appropriately when you notice them. This understanding is crucial to raising healthy teenagers. Stop
And
there.
well, thank you for that. And I'm sure that our listeners are going to want to grab your book and get some more advice on that. And we'll look forward to your next two books. What time frame are you looking at for volume 2 to come out?
I'm thinking like early 2025.
All right. Well, maybe you'll be able to come back and tell us a little bit about that book in 2025. Lamatha, thanks so much for being on Hello, Ernest. And until next time, keep reading.
Okay, thanks so much for having me, Jan. It's a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to this informal conversation with today's author.
Join us next time as we connect writers and readers around the kitchen table.